Hello, welcome to episode 3 of the All or Nothing podcast. I'm joined by Elliot. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm feeling good because Spurs look good. Let's just get straight into it because
Yeah.
I need to talk about Spurs. We
Okay.
played well this weekend, right? We did. We obviously won 3-0. Objectively, on paper, really good result. And I want to be happy about it, and I do have really good aspects of that game I want to talk about. But everyone's talking about how we have this unbeaten run with Conte, how we look great, but his system is clearly there. There's an identity that we never had under Nuno after 4 months or whatever it was. But I think any team that's not Norwich probably beats us in that game. Surely, because if you look at the opportunities they had, any good team probably would have capitalised. Our defence is looking good in the sense that I think Ben Davies is a changed man at left centre back in a back five. He's not fast enough to be a wing back, but he's faster than the average centre back. So it's good. It does work out, and he looks great. Eric Dyer again looks great. He's having his resurgence under a new manager like he does every other time. Davinson Sanchez is Davinson Sanchez. Would rather have Christian Romero in there, but somehow we're still getting caught out consistently on the break, which we are leaving such massive gaps that I feel like even though Chelsea aren't necessarily playing at their best recently, I think if you put Chelsea in there, they still beat us 3-0 again, when Conte is supposed to be the man that's preventing that from happening. And we've only conceded one goal, obviously, in the past 4 games in the Premier League, which is good, and it is a sign of that there are things working, but I'm just not. I'm too affected by the past Spurs to believe that there's really something going on here, like something really good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, having watched Match of the Day, it's if Norwich had finished half of their chances, like probably would have knocked your confidence a bit in the game and could have easily been a 2-2 maybe. But the thing is, they didn't finish their chances. You won, and that's the result. Like you can't change that.
Yeah,
So
that's football, isn't it? I mean, I shouldn't be sad or angry that we won
no,
because it's not like a Nuno win where we beat Man City 1-0, but we didn't. Like, did we deserve to beat Man City 1-0? Like, probably not.
yeah,
And
yeah, definitely.
so I can feel happy about that, but one thing,
The thing
to
is,
feel. Oh, go on.
I think that having having a defined system where where players know what they've got to do. You have a role, you do your role, that's it. Like obviously that's what every manager wants, but it didn't seem like you had that under Nuno. It
Yeah.
seemed like some players were trying to lack for other players' deficiencies.
Actually, I think that's a
So
really good point. That is a really good point.
yeah, so maybe when you have someone like Conte who's won as much as he's won, players are willing to buy into the system more, and compared to Nuno, who hasn't done much in his career. Obviously, he's done really well. Wolves to get them, was it top 16 in Europa League?
Yeah, they got to round of 16, I believe.
Yeah. So to get them to there, but when you have someone like Conte who commands a dressing room, it's quite surprising to me though why that didn't work under Jose, because you could say exactly the same for him. So why didn't it work under him if it's possibly going to work under Conte?
The biggest problem with Jose was that he kind of had this air of finished about him already, didn't he? He
Yeah.
had obviously won with Man United. There was no denying that. And he got sacked, but he'd always been sacked before from Chelsea and Inter and Real Madrid. He always got sacked eventually. But I feel like everybody knew coming in that Jose was done. He was. He wasn't supposed to be supposed to be the man, and everyone knew he
That's it.
he
He was a
wasn't
Chelsea
the man.
guy. Why is he going to Tottenham?
But so is Conte.
Yeah, true.
Chelsea
But I
fans
think
look
I
fond
think
of him.
Conte's more mercenary than Jose. I feel like sometimes I would say Jose seems more like someone who is a traditionalist in football, whereas Conte, through his managerial career at least, seems very mercenary. Just go for the job, get the job done on to the next place. He's not bothered about the legacy sort of thing. Whereas I probably would have thought that about Jose until he took the Tottenham job.
But he also took the Man United job as well, and I feel like a lot of Chelsea fans would see that as a bit of a betrayal, considering that Man United were basically their main rivals during the mid-2000s, competing for the league. But I think that the reason that Conte's came in and commanded such respect is mainly that he has won recently, and he is winning. He hasn't not won really. He's won 7 of the last 9 leagues that he's been involved in. He's got this ability to take good teams, sometimes subpar teams, and turn them into mercenaries, unbelievable winners.
And very quickly.
Yeah, like he turned Inter Milan into, like, he finished 4th of them the first season and then finished 1st the next season. He ended the 10 in a row that he started with Juventus.
Yeah.
He took Chelsea from 10th from the season before into a team that won the league, but arguably they were already a team that was good enough to do
capable,
that. Yeah. But I think that what he's really doing for me at Spurs right now is showing that we are not Harry Kane Spurs. He has scored one league goal this season, but we won 3. We won 3-0. I wouldn't be playing Harry Kane, but Conte said that he wants to play Harry Kane because
that's fair enough.
He is Harry Kane at the end of the day, and we won 3-0 with him on the pitch. Whether he scored those goals or assisted those goals or not, we did win with him on the pitch. And I think that it's kind of given, I'd say, a good few Tottenham fans a good confidence that when Kane does go, it's okay. We are not defined by him, and when you've got players like Son on the pitch, Lucas Moura, who is on his day a world-class footballer, he really can be one of the best, just not consistently enough. But under Conte, you kind of assume that maybe this is when Moura starts to pick up and keep going. Like his footwork and just the goal he scored against Norwich was unreal. It was like if Messi did that, it'd be in TikTok highlight reels for
very good goal.
Months. And then
I do think his ability on the ball is, when he's firing, he is so good. Exactly,
and when you've got players like that are willing to die for the shirt, let alone the manager, it starts to fill me a bit of confidence. I know that I'm saying that I'm still nervous about the defence, but obviously Romero is injured. He is by far our best defender. Yeah. We're looking to bring someone in January. Once we sort that out, I'm feeling very, very confident. Very confident. And one of the bright sparks of this team is Oliver Skipp. He is so young, but he is so good. Because we had Pochettino, I remember way back, saying he will be a great midfielder. Jose comes in, calls him the future captain of Tottenham, and Conte has said that he could be one of the best midfielders out there with that drive. And then Skip's got 2 man in the matches in a row. He's like, what, 20, 21?
Yeah, he's quite young, isn't he?
And his people keep talking about he's like a number 6, or like could play in like a double pivot role. But I think they're ignoring the fact that this man is an unbelievable playmaker, and his passing is sublime for such a young age. He's developing at such a rapid rate. Like, I am a huge fan of Billy Gilmour, but I honestly think that Oliver Skipp is getting up to that level. Like, I think if you put Skipp, say Skipp's Scottish and he gets to play in that Scotland team, people are going, look, he's doing it on an international level. It just happens that he's English and England have one of the best teams on the planet.
Yeah, and sort of midfield as well is such a packed place for England that there's not much chance of him probably getting in the squad.
Not anytime soon, you wouldn't think. But then I saw some discussion online. Is he, like, Calvin Phillips? I really rate Calvin. I've watched him in the Championship, and I watched him come up with Leeds in that.
Same.
If Skipp is ever to displace somebody in the future, I feel like it could be Phillips, because Phillips is slightly older, and he is really good, don't get me wrong. But it's maybe a bit too soon to be talking about, but I think that Skipp is developing at such a rapid rate that
Well, that's the thing. So obviously, Declan Rice is looking like he'll probably be future England captain. If I had to put a name on who I would pick for it, I'd put him. And he is one of the best players in the England setup currently. Like probably one of, if not the best holding midfielders in the world. But he's much more of a box to box player in this year. So really, if you're able to drop someone in that like holding midfield role, you're not going to drop Declan Rice because he's just so much better than Calvin Phillips. Like, I'm not saying Calvin Phillips is a bad player in any way. Like, 99 other international squads he gets into, just happens to be that England have someone that can fill that role perfectly. And if you have someone who has youth on their side, why not get them in earlier to then help build them into a long-term team?
I completely agree. It's an internal England problem at the moment that they just have too many good players in all the positions, basically, like everywhere.
Apart from goalkeeper.
I rate Pickford. I don't care what anybody says. Like
when he plays in a white shirt, he's good.
Yeah. No, he's a liability when he's playing for Everton, but he's never put a foot wrong for England. Even if people like want to say that he's got this mistake in him, I've not seen him make a mistake really for England. So why,
I do feel like Ramsdale could be.
But how does Ramsdale? How does he come in and displace a man that's not put a foot wrong for England for years?
Yeah, but you could say that about how would Skip get in and displace Calvin Phillips?
That's true, but it's different for a goalkeeper. For Calvin Phillips, he
definitely
could get subbed on. Skip could get subbed on. They kind of split the time evenly. You don't split time for goalkeeper.
I think shot stopping wise, they are very equivalent. Probably, yeah. I would say they're very similar on what they provide shot stopper. I just think Ramsdale's distribution is so much better. Like what he does with his feet. I know what people like to say. I know that's what people say he's good about Pickford is his distribution, but like they are similar in ways on their shot stopping, but just Ramsdale's distribution, short passes, long passes, medium range, just everything. I don't think I've seen him really miss one. So I think that if you're just looking at it in that sense, then you're just getting a like for like on the shot stopping, and you're just making your distribution better.
You are right in that Ramsdale is all round a better keeper for his distribution, especially in the modern game. He's got to be good at that. It's just so hard to displace somebody who has been a mainstay in the England team for so long in goal and been so reliable too. Like,
definitely.
It's got to be hard for Southgate to just outright be like, all right, Jordan, you're done. You're bench for England now. That's got to be really hard to do.
I definitely agree with that. Like, that can be said for like what happened with Joe Hart as well. Joe Hart never really set a foot wrong, even in a City shirt. Mm-hmm. But all good things have to come to an end, don't they? So
yeah, I'm a huge advocate for Joe Hart. He is my goalkeeping hero. I love him, even if he's at Celtic. I will him to do terrible when he's in his Celtic shirt. But everything before
didn't do
that,
brilliantly. Recently, did he?
Yeah,
the Europa League.
No, he has his moments. He has his moments.
So, anyway. What are your thoughts on Tottenham long-term success under Conte? Because obviously there were those quotes that came out, and he said he realises he has a lot of work to do. It's probably going to be his biggest challenge, and he's not a magician.
Yeah, I mean he's not wrong, is he? He's not wrong that.
No.
That he's. What's crazy is that, give or take a few players, this Spurs team a few years ago was really good. It was.
Yeah, definitely.
But it seems that people have gotten older, their development's maybe stalled. But he's doing what we said before in last episodes, that he can turn players who are subpar into really good players. Or maybe not subpar, but just bang average. Like Victor Moses. And I am seeing a Victor Moses-esque transition for Ben Davies, like, and Eric Dyer. The people that matter, the problem that Spurs have had has been defensively woeful. He might be able to turn these boys into the men they're supposed to be. But
do you think so many players end up playing their best football under Conte? You look at Lukaku last season in Serie A.
yeah,
I know he didn't get golden boot, but the way he was
good.
playing, he was unreal. Which is what warranted Chelsea paying 90 million euros?
Something like that. Sound crazy.
Yeah.
And now he's back to Man United. Lukaku can't really do what he was doing in Inter.
Lukaku.
There's just something about Antonio Conte, and trust me, I hated this man when he was at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I did not like him. I respected him when he was at Inter, but my God, is he going to turn the Spurs team into winners? I just
You've
it's
got
so
to at least
fun.
win the Conference League.
Roma in there. I don't know. Like
The thing is,
Celtic are
it's
in there
one
too,
of those
man.
trophies where it's like, do you want to win it and then be known as the team that won the Conference League, or just not win the Conference League? Because it's. Would you take any trophy?
I relate to Mr. Rory Jennings on this so much. A trophy is a trophy. I do not care what kind of trophy it is. Like, I remember on an episode of Kickoff, they were talking about the League Cup's not really it for Tottenham. They need something bigger. And Rory was like, no, it's exactly what Tottenham need. Like, and he's right.
Trophy.
We just need a trophy. And if that's Conference League, if that's the FA Cup, whatever it is, I do not care. As long as I get to see Hugo Lloris lifting a trophy, that's good enough for me. And Conte's done his job. Obviously, we want to win the league. We want to win everything we can possibly win, compete in the Champions League. But as soon as he gets us a trophy, he's doing what Poch couldn't, what Jose couldn't, what Nuno couldn't, and that's enough for me. But I genuinely think that he could take us to bigger heights.
I think he's going to get a lot more spending than Poch did. So I think what Poch did for you guys was amazing. So it's just one of those things where obviously you have to sort of contextualise it.
See, I've been reading a little bit about some Pochettino stuff, and we all know Spurs supporters love Poch, and for good reason. He turned Spurs into a subpar, mid-table team, occasionally Europe team, to a consistent Champions League team. But
getting your Champions League final as well.
Yeah, but he did that as well, especially with no transfers that season either, which was nuts, and an injury list that went on for days. But looking at him now at PSG, tactically, the problems that he had at Spurs were his substitutions were bizarre. His in-game management wasn't always right or consistently right. He would make bizarre decisions. It seems to be the same problem that he's having at PSG, and it's just on a significantly bigger stage than ever before. And it's starting to make me think that Poch has hit his limit, you know. I don't know if he's going to be world class like everybody thought he was.
So I think the issue with PSG is you have 6-7 names that are always starting on that team sheet. Like you can't not play you can't not play Neymar, 200 and something million pound player, right? Whatever it was. You can't not play Mbappe. You can't not play Messi. You can't not play Marquinhos. You can't not play Hakimi. That's 5 players there already that I've named off.
But then that is true. There is a problem there.
There's an issue in that he has too many players that he needs to play. Just straight starting every game, pretty much.
But if you look at that City game, if you look at the pass map for it, quite clearly he is sacrificing the team dynamic and how they play to shoehorn these players in, and it doesn't like. I understand that he maybe feels pressure. Maybe they're not directly telling him that there's pressure, but he maybe feels it in the air. He has to play Hakimi and Di Maria. But if you look at the pass map, the players are so just not in position. They are all in the center of the pitch, and he's just putting in players that aren't necessarily meant to be there because he feels like he has to play them. And I feel like he maybe kind of did that at Spurs, where he just
The thing is, if you say about the pressure thing, where he maybe isn't being told there's pressure, but he's feeling it. You have a team with Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, like that. That is basically, you should be winning the Champions League just with those three names alone. Like, if you gave Pep one of those three players, we could win the Champions League, probably.
But I think the reality is that Pep would bench one of them if they needed a rest, if he felt like they weren't playing as well. Poch is playing Mbappe game in, game out, and it's we call it Mbappe fraud, literally last episode. But it's causing more problems for Mbappe as a player because he's getting played so much that obviously his performances are going to stall out because he's not getting a chance to rest properly. And I think that as a manager, you just kind of have to make a decision at some point that you're benching them, and it's not because they're bad, it's not because they're this or they're that, they're just tired and they need a rest. And just because he is one of the biggest names on the planet doesn't mean that the man doesn't need a rest. And Hakimi or Di Maria can play his place.
Or that you don't, or that you have to start him every week.
Exactly. Like, does he need to start against Nantes 100% during the week? Probably not. I don't know. The whole Poch stuff is very bizarre to me, and everyone was also says that it was a terrible decision to ever let him go from Spurs because we've had this bad period. But he had hit his limit at Spurs anyway.
You're in a bad place with him at that point anyway.
Well, yeah, obviously he got us a Champions League final, but that was a miracle. That wasn't obviously part of it was him, but it was straight up just a miracle, man.
That was a Lucas Moura.
Yeah, that was him being a world class magician. That was just luck at the end of the day. And he's also worked wonders and blah blah blah. And Harry Kane was injured, and somehow Lucas Moura and Llorente became main men. And about 6 months from that point, we weren't even in the European spots, and we'd just been kicked out of the League Cup by Colchester. He had to go, and now it's showing that despite this horrible patch that we've went through, we have ultimately got Antonio Conte, who is a manager in his prime. Even Jose at the tail end of his prime, before everyone said he was finished, won the Europa League, won the FA Cup with Man United.
Manchester United.
And finished second.
Not a good Manchester United side at all.
Exactly. So, it's a tough one, man. Overall, back to the main point of the question before I ran a bit Pochettino. Yes, I think Spurs do ultimately succeed this time. I never thought they would with Jose. I never thought they would with Nuno. But I really feel it this time because I'm seeing bang average players turn into top class players. I rest my case.
I think that's fair enough. I think we should at least see a trophy in the next 2 seasons.
FA Cup this year, mate. Got Morecambe in the third round.
I know. Charlotte's livid that they drew West Ham drew Leeds.
Oh, did they? I honestly haven't seen the other draws yet. They got Swindon. So of course they got Swindon, man. Of course they did.
Liverpool got Shrewsbury, which is quite funny for our football chat.
Oh yeah, Callum, Shrewsbury, man.
Yeah. Also
that'd be funny watching him going to the away day.
Yeah, Anfield.
Oh, okay, it's Kira versus Callum.
It is.
I think we all know who we want to come out on top of that fight.
Shrewsbury.
Yes, for sure. Up. Sorry about that, Kira. Shall we move on to Man United or Man City? United?
I think United.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, good start. I saw the Dirty Reds walking past my cafe on the way to match day.
It looks good, man. They look good.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe it, but it's there. I think that we have to give at least a little bit of a note to Michael Carrick. I grew up loving Michael Carrick. I won't even deny. I was up until I was 9. I loved United, but I think everybody did in Scotland just because of Ronaldo. So I have this affection for Darren Fletcher and Michael Carrick. I just really like those midfielders, and he went undefeated with his club, the club he won every trophy there was to win with. What was it? He won 3 and drew 1 or something like that, or 2, 1, 2,
drew 1.
And he left. Obviously, that's him. He's out of Man United, and it's a question of what comes next for him?
And I think they were actually playing decent football under Carrick. I don't think it was.
They looked
Obviously,
a bit composed.
it was there to put a plaster over an axe wound, sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. That is true.
I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle go down, because they have that clause where they can sack Eddie Howe. I wouldn't be surprised if you maybe saw him go there.
You know, I think he would. He's a Geordie, isn't he? So
yeah, I don't know what side. I don't know if what side he's from.
I'm gonna hazard a guess and say Newcastle. That's just because I don't like Sunderland, so I'm just gonna say it's Newcastle. That's what I have in my mind, that he's a big Newcastle fan. So, but yeah,
could also maybe go to West Ham, help with coaching there under Moyes,
it's not
or
it's not a bad
help
idea,
with one of the under squads.
I think that he's obviously, 3 games is nothing. You can't judge a manager off of 3 games, and he has been part of one of the worst spells for Man United in history as a coach. But I feel like he should go now and get some coaching experience with a different team, different dynamic.
Maybe do a John Terry.
Yeah, for sure. Manage like an under-23s team, like for a big team like Steven Gerrard did for Liverpool. Go out there, you gain some different experience, and then is Michael Carrick a manager 5 years from now for a bigger side? Is he going to be like a manager that like, Michael Carrick's half decent, by the way? Well, that's from 3 games. So
just quickly on the whole Ollie situation, I saw someone make a bloody banging tweet where they said in 15 years Divock Origi will be Liverpool's interim manager or something like that. Just coming off based off the fact he's coming off the bench and.
It's true. It is actually true. He's unreal, man. It's true. Divock Origi.
Do you know he's 26?
He's only 26. He's been at Liverpool for like 7 seasons, man.
I can't believe he's as complacent to stay at Liverpool and not go off and play for a smaller team and start.
He's won the Champions League. He actually scored a goal in the Champions League final, you know? Like,
yeah.
And he's scored.
I mean, he's the reason they got to that final.
Yeah, he scored the biggest goals in recent Liverpool history. He scored that goal against Everton when Pickford messed up.
Yep.
I kind of see why he doesn't want to leave, because he is a club legend. He's started like 35 times in however many seasons, but he's a club legend. So, yeah, why would he leave? But back to the point at hand, Manchester United, and Rangnick had his first game.
Yeah.
What are we saying?
I mean, I was partially falling asleep by the time I was watching it on Match of the Day, but what I did see, they looked very composed. Like everyone knew what they were doing, and they got pressing's not something to easily train into.
No.
We know this, like when managers come in that want to change systems to that fast-paced press, what Frank Lampard said, that every manager wants to be. They want to be high up the pitch, pressing.
Yep.
It's not easy for some players to adapt and for everyone to get the composure to do it at the same time and cut off.
Make sure that all spaces are covered and stuff like that while you're like keeping this pressure up. Like, yeah. It's difficult.
And I'm gonna eat my words here, but Fred looked good. I
said it last episode. Fred would be elite under Rangnick, and I'd just like to point out he was elite under Carrick as well.
He was pretty good under Carrick. And do you know what I think it was? There wasn't the massive disconnect between holding midfield and the attacking portion.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Fred's short range to medium range passing, really good. He's not Van Dijk. He can't launch it halfway up the pitch and perfectly land it at someone's feet. He's not Paul Scholes. He can't do that. So, but when he just has to make the passes that count, that build up the play, he was doing it and scored the winning goal.
A good goal too. A really good goal.
Yeah, it was a really good team goal.
I've said for ages that I like Fred. I've liked Fred for like a couple of years now, ever since Man United beat City in a derby like in 2019 or something. I said that Fred was unreal that game, and ever since then I've stood by my man. I don't like United, but I like him. And this is it. This is his redemption. He is about to become the Brazilian Fred that we all know. He plays really well for Brazil. He's about to play really well for Man United, and I'm gonna savor it because I got called a fool for saying he was gonna be elite, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. I think the whole team as well looked really good. I mean, Ronaldo was even pressing, which I was very surprised to see.
I think the man just wants to win, you know? And if that means that pressing even just a little bit more than normal, yeah, I think he'll do it just because he wants to see United win trophies. He wants to be the man that led United to the glory days again. And
one thing that I'm surprised that hasn't happened is change of armband. That's the one thing that still baffles me, and the only reason that's not happened is because Harry Maguire is an £80 million centre back.
It's got to be that, and the fact that I guess does a manager want to come in and disrupt the dressing room in that sort of fashion and almost demoralise one of your main centre backs, the most expensive centre back? You can't. While we can easily say from the outside that he needs to be disarmed and that taken off of him and benched,
yeah,
it's got to be hard as a manager to come in to a group of boys that have known each other and played with each other for multiple years, and then say you're not good enough to be captain, you're not good enough to start, you're getting benched.
Why not do what Pep does at City every year and have a vote for who they want as captain, vice, and third?
See, some people think that's a dumb idea, and I disagree with those people because I think it's
a brilliant idea.
I think it's smart because people say that no, it should be the manager who makes that decision because they're the person who picks the leader.
But
they know who the leaders
know
are.
Who they want to listen to.
Exactly.
Who they have the faith in to manage, control it on the pitch. But Ruben Dias, second season at Man City, has had the captain's armband a couple times this season.
Yeah, because he commands that presence, doesn't he?
Yes. Just the way he controls that back line, the way he communicates with Rodri or Fernandinho, and he's obviously when Fernandinho's on, he has the armband, but the way he just has the presence, he just, as much as it hurts me to say this, I don't think Phil Foden will ever be Man City captain unless it's on a basis of being there long enough that he's basically got it for that reason.
Yeah, I think that's Phil.
I would love that.
To be the captain,
I love Phil Foden. He's my favourite player on that squad. I think he's fucking amazing. But I can't sing his praises enough. But if we're talking about who should be Man City's captain for the next 5 years, or the next 5 years after Fernandinho leaves, it's got to be. And the players have even voted Gundogan or Diaz. I don't see De Bruyne as a leading figure. He seems very much more of a passive player to me.
Yeah. I can see him having his moments where it's just it's Ben Foster moment where he walks in the change room and he's like, you're shit, you're shit, you're shit. But I don't see him being the man who's there to do that week in, week out. Gundogan, Ruben Diaz, Fernandinho for sure, all seem like the type of guys that are basically going to be like, right, you're all shit. Let's back up our ideas for the second half and move on.
Anyway, we were talking about Sam removing Harry Maguire from the captaincy. But yeah, I don't think it's that simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say it, but it can't be done
in practice.
That. Yeah. The next question is, what if Rangnick succeeds? What if this man somehow turns Man United? What if he pulls a Tuchel and wins the Champions League with Man United? Does he become the consultant after that, or does he remain manager?
That was the only condition that he signed the contract, that he got the consultancy for 2 years.
Yeah. But what if they come and offer him the job? What if they go, right, well, you can have the job full time?
I think he's pretty set on the consultancy thing because we did a RB Red Bull, the Red Bull group, what he was doing over at Lokomotiv Moscow. He seems like he wants to be a project builder. And living 5 minutes from Old Trafford, I can tell you that area is a shithole.
Yeah, it is.
It's really not nice. From when you came down, not nice. That area needs massive development. I mean, I've told you about this guy that came in my work, followed United around for the 1990s and went to the week where they won the Prem, the FA Cup and Champions League.
Yep.
He said they need to just demolish Old Trafford and build a new stadium at Carrington, which I think is a very interesting idea.
the Old Trafford is a bit of a shithole. Like it is. It's falling
Yeah, it
apart.
is.
It's also impossible. Like if you're sitting at certain points of the stands, you can't
There's
actually.
no signal.
Yeah, you can't see the other stand. Like my dad was there.
Yeah,
and
part of
he
the
was like,
scaffolding blocks part of the pitch, doesn't it?
yeah, because he was like, they were saying, "Oh, Sir Alex Ferguson is here. Everyone clap, haha." And my dad was like, "I can't even see him. Like they're saying where he is, and the roof covers him. I can't see him." And I was like, "That is bizarre."
They have a train line that runs right by it that makes it really hard for them to do any work to the stadium.
Whereas you look at City, and they've transformed the
State-of-the-art
area.
facility. Yeah, transform the
They've
area.
really invested, but I think that partially that was the owners trying to show good
Sports
faith.
washing thing.
Spurs are doing the same. Spurs are trying to do more for the community around them with the new stadium and stuff like that. Yeah, Newcastle are going to be doing the same. Which, if anywhere needs it, Newcastle is a great place for it.
Would be good for the area in Newcastle if they got something like the CFA.
Yeah, I think the Man United have just gotten away with it for so long because they were already massive that people weren't really acknowledging that they were lacking in those areas as a team. Like, it's more than just a team, isn't it? It's the community around the team and supporting that community.
Yeah, it's a training ground and all that. Like, their training ground is literally a group of like 3 fields.
It's Man United. You expect the best of the best.
Yeah, that's what this guy that comes in who I work says. Like, they should build the biggest and best stadium in the world in Carrington. That's what he was saying. Like, he thinks they should do. But
they would pack it out week in, week out as well. It would be full.
Yeah, I know. The fans would come up from London.
It'd be Tuesday. It'd be Wednesday. So I continue my point and you fucking got me there, Jesus. Oh my god. But yeah, like it'd be a fucking cold, wet Tuesday night and 80,000, 90,000 people would be there. 100,000 people would be there because it's Man United. And they just let the fucking stadium rot and Man United just do my head in.
Well, you know, that's what happens when you don't have good owners, I suppose. At least your owner has invested in a stadium and...
Yeah, I mean, we're super in debt from it, but my god, it looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you have those pints that fill from the bottom.
Oh, so cool. Longest bar in Europe as well. Fascinating stuff, mate. Don't have a trophy, though.
Oh, do have a sponsor that rinsed into you with a dog?
Don't. That was embarrassing. Oh, no. Spurs are a joke, bro. But no one annoys me, right? I know this is not Man United, but I don't care. We are, like, if we're struggling, if we've waited this long to get a sponsorship for the stadium, right? Many teams have went from just having like Swansea, the Liberty Stadium, I'm pretty sure they had, and then it got renamed to whatever the sponsor is. Fair enough, they decided to go against all morals and change the name of a stadium that was deep rooted in the team for a sponsor. Why did Spurs not just do that? If they were going to change it anyway, why are we sticking with Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Why didn't we just keep it as White Hart Lane and it'd be fucking massive and be sick? But no, we're Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, possibly Nike Stadium.
I thought you were still White Hart Lane.
No, I mean fans will call it White Hart Lane. I'll call it White Hart Lane. Yeah, most people will call it that. But if you look anywhere, like on Sky, on like we have an official Twitter account for our fucking stadium. It's embarrassing, and it's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I thought the AJ Anthony Joshua fight was marketed at White Hart Lane.
I don't think it was. I think it was Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Fairs, I did not know that.
And I think it's because they wanted it to be like commercially sound nice when they doing their NFL stuff, or having Anthony Joshua fight there. It's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's not, oh, the Packers are playing at White Hart Lane. They're like, what the fuck is White Hart Lane? Like, whereas they hear Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, like, oh, that's a football team. I've heard of them before. It's like,
that's a soccer team.
Fuck off. Let's just call it White Hart Lane.
Well, to be fair, all of the stadiums in America are named like whack things.
Yeah, dumbass stuff. There's one, like, I was about to start talking about basketball. This is a fucking football podcast. Right, so Rangnick succeeds. Do you think he takes this consultancy anyway? Do you think he, like, say he wins the Champions League, he goes, right, mic drop. Bye, boys.
Yeah, I think he does. I think that's what he wants to be there to do. I think he'll probably be already working closely with Fergie as to what they can do to build the club up. And maybe having someone that has a history of doing it will potentially lead the Glazers to, I don't know, invest more, help
Possibly.
do these sort of things. Potentially, I don't know. Obviously, it's hard to say. But
It's definitely going to be one of the most
I do-
interesting things to watch.
one thing I do want to say quickly about Rangnick is everyone's gassing him up, godfather of German football, yada yada yada. He's won 2 trophies in his whole managerial career. I think he's won DFB Cup, and he's won Bundesliga 2. That's all he's won. So everyone expecting him to come in and work miracles and win something with United, I think, are probably overstating things. That's all I'm gonna say. That's my piece.
I'm not here to disagree with you, because I have also had the same things. I just like to also look at the fact that he could turn them into a powerhouse, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that obviously gets called the godfather of German football and all this shit. But it's one thing to be the godfather of German football, and another thing to implement those things you talk about. I could be the greatest lecturer at uni in the world and know all the information about graphic design, but I might be a shit graphic designer. Because he can talk the talk doesn't mean he can actually implement it, make it work. Klopp can implement it.
Yeah,
Tuchel can implement it.
2 of the people that he has influenced the most have won 2. They've won 2 Champions Leagues within the last 3 years.
Exactly. But what's he won? Nothing. He's been Spartak.
Nothing. Locomotive.
Oh yeah, Lokomotiv.
That one.
It's not like they care. Oh my god, they're Russian fans, won't they?
Well, no, that's true.
But no, I'm joking.
Just
Russian
quickly,
fans really care.
did you see that Abramovich tried to pay Lokomotiv Moscow not to release him from his contract?
That is outstanding. I love that kind of shithousery. I actually really fucking love that. I mean, if he was doing that to my club, horrible man. Would hate him. I mean, I also don't particularly like him too much because he's the Chelsea owner, made Chelsea. But that's fucking brilliant. I really do like that.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
If I heard Daniel Levy was trying to do that, I would fucking... I'd actually quite like Daniel Levy a little bit. Yeah, that's United. I don't really have much more to say on...
No, neither.
I wanted known that I think Fred's elite.
I think you could potentially be right. We'll see over the coming months. I wonder if all the TikToks calling him shit will stop.
Mate, I'm going to fucking clip up me talking about Fred being outstanding from episode 2 and now in 6 months when he's lifting the Champions League trophy.
Yeah.
I'm going to clip it up and I'm like, I told you all. I told you.
So, one thing I want to talk about is Bernardo Silva, in my mind, is currently the best player on the planet. We had it last year with Ilkay Gundogan for like a solid 2 months. And now we have it with, I believe, with Bernardo Silva. A lot of people probably say Mohamed Salah's been better. But I just think Bernardo Silva offers so much all around that Salah doesn't. Like, I'm not saying what Salah does is bad by any means. I think Salah is a fucking amazing player. He is brilliant. One of the top players in the Premier League in the last 5 years. If not the best player in the Premier League in the last 5 years. Been outstanding. But when you look at what Bernardo does for the team as a whole, Man City, he drops deep into the midfield. He's progressive. He scores goals. He assists. He does so many things. He's in the 94th percentile for shot creating actions, 96th for non-penalty goals. He's 99th for progressive carries, 99th for touches, 99th for progressive passes received. His numbers are, his stats are insane. And I know what some people say that obviously the classic line, stats are for mugs, but stats don't lie. Like, these are factual things. Like, yes, Salah's 99th for non-penalty goals, 99th percentile for non-penalty XG, insane. But just Bernardo Silva is a more complete player, offers so much more to Man City in like a variety of roles than Salah does for Liverpool, I think.
You know what? I was going to play devil's advocate to try and argue that Mohamed Salah is better.
Oh,
Because
go for it, go.
See, because I love Bernardo Silva. I think he's a baller. I do think he is one of the best in the world. I think Mohamed Salah is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I'm not saying Salah is bad. I think Salah is I would say Salah is the second best player in the world.
I think that we are, to put this into a different perspective, that obviously we watch Messi and Ronaldo, and maybe 1 week one's the best, next week the other one's best, and it's just this constant back and forth. And I do think we're having a little bit of an element of that, where Bernardo Silva does something. One second, Charlie's fucking... Charlie had a toy, and she was scraping it. Yeah. I think that we're having a 1 week where Bernardo Silva is great, and then Mohamed Salah will be great, and then Bernardo Silva will be great, and it's just this constant one-upping battle. They're maybe not in that battle in their heads, but as a viewer, as a fan, I feel like they are. And but Mohamed Salah in the past however many games has 17 goals and assists contributions.
I was going to say, isn't it 19 goals and assist contributions in the last 19 games?
Something like that, yeah. It's only one game where he hasn't actually been involved in stuff, is what I'm pretty sure I read.
Which is insane.
It's criminal. It's wrong. That doesn't make sense. How is... But then you have Bernardo Silva, who is single-handedly making... Man City have been really good, but...
With Man City's midfield, we don't need Kevin De Bruyne anymore.
Which is... wrong.
I don't think I think we could sell Kevin De Bruyne and be in the same position we are now.
You're right, which is criminal because it's Kevin De Bruyne. And he's unreal.
To say, we were going to sell Bernardo Silva for 40 million euros to Atletico Madrid in the summer.
I knew
40 million.
Wrong. It's so wrong. Why was that even considered? But then you can say the same about Raheem Sterling, bro. He's doing really good right now.
He's doing so good now. Yeah.
Oh, no, but I think that every City fan and every football fan with a bit of a brain knew that selling Bernardo Silva would be a huge mistake.
Oh, 100%.
Very, very glad that he's doing it just for the excitement value
the thing
that
is,
he brings.
He's not put in a transfer request. He did say in the summer he does want to go and play out in Spain. But he's not put in a transfer request. He's not done any. He's not tried to force a move out. He's came into this season and is playing probably the best football of his career. He's not having a Harry Kane situation where he's wanted to leave and then has just bottled it.
Exactly, and he's only 27, man. He's only 27.
The thing is, I love Bernardo Silva. I wouldn't have any ill wish for him if he does get a move in this summer, because he's made it clear. It's fine, but he's stuck around and he has given us such a good performance. He has played so well.
He's been City's best player this season by far.
Yeah, without a doubt, 100% without a doubt. So,
but is he better than Salah?
I think there is a very easy argument not an easy argument. And there's a hard thing to argue there because Bernardo, he plays midfield 1 week, he plays up front the next. He plays centrally, he plays on the right, on the left. I just think he plays such a variety, and it's there are times when he's on the ball and what he does is it's like magic. It's like insane. It's just, I don't know how he does some of the stuff he does. That goal against De Gea. How did he? And the one on the weekend against Watford.
The one at the weekend was just
where he slid it through from that far out, but also managed to play that pass to himself. I'm I was in the pub watching that. I was like, what the? I was like, what? I had no idea it went in initially.
You know what? You are right. As a player, he is so much more dynamic than Mo Salah. Mo Salah basically could play anywhere on the front three. Bernardo could play anywhere in front of the back line. It feels like you could really put him anywhere, like midfield up.
Maybe apart
he
from
could
holding midfield, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, but am I ever going to expect little Bernardo Silva to play on the midfield? No, but I could expect him to play literally anywhere else, which is mad.
Yeah.
I still think that week in, week out, it's too hard. I think it's really too hard to define it. They both are unstoppable at points, and they obviously.
Yeah.
I was going to say they maybe have off games that they're not as good, but like that's not true. They've both just been consistently great this season. I think it's impossible to actually say who's better.
Both have played every game possible for their squads this season, I believe.
From a neutral's position, I think it's too hard to pick.
Well,
Obviously,
Bernardo
from a City
minus
position,
one,
you're
yeah.
going to say Bernardo. From
Yeah.
a Liverpool fan, they're going to say Salah. But from
Yeah,
a
and
neutral,
I
I don't know, man.
The thing is, I think there is a argument to be made for both, and I think that just speaks for how good they are.
Yeah, that's how it has to be seen. I guess you're right. I can't even pick. I mean, look, I was gonna, but I can't. I would have said Bernardo, but then I thought about Mo Salah, and
That run of games just is insane.
it's
Like,
wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
And it's gonna ruin Mr. Robert Lewandowski's aim for the Ballon d'Or. I feel like, and that annoys me somewhat. I'm gonna feel robbed next year when he doesn't get it. Even though next year, if he doesn't get it, it'll probably be rightfully given to Mo Salah or someone like that. It's gonna hurt. Any more on that?
No more on that for me. I'll just end up saying the same stuff over and over again.
Well, I want to talk about Rangers just a wee bit. I've not got it in our podcast notes, but I do
Yeah,
want
that's
to
cool.
just quickly mention that is now 4 wins out of 4 for Giovanni von Bronckhorst. The first time that's happened since, I believe, the 60s for a new Rangers manager to win their first 4 games. I'm feeling like I did feel this almost immediately after Gerrard left, but it is definitely feeling now like it was 100% the right decision for Gerrard to leave and Gio to come in. It felt like betrayal at the time, but the reality is the squad had stagnated a wee bit and needed this boost. And while there feels like there's maybe the defensive frailty still, and we're not 100% there yet, it's still 4 out of 4 wins. We're going into Europe. Ryan Jack is back, who went out with an ACL tear, was out for 6 months, and then has only just really started playing again. He's getting minutes at the weekend. He got minutes just past. It feels... I was nervous about Rangers' attempt to get back-to-back titles, but I'm a lot more confident under Gio than I was under Steven Gerrard. The big telling point will be Rangers v Celtic on the 2nd of January, I feel like. Because we might lose a game by that point. It's almost definite that we'll drop points just because there's 8 games in December. Same for Celtic. But Ange's Celtic are looking good. They're looking put together just the same way that Rangers are. And I think we're going to go to the end at this rate. Unless one team has a winter break, after the winter break has a lull, like has happened to Rangers in previous seasons. I just feel very, very confident, and I'm really intrigued to see what he wants to look for in the January transfer market. And Joe Aribo is unbelievable, and Fashion Sakala is my favourite player on the planet.
What
Stop
do you
singing.
think is needed in the January transfers?
See, that's... At one point, I would have said a defender. I would have said we need another centre-back because Goldson had mentally checked out because he is looking for a move at the end of his contract, which is fair enough. He's done his service. It would be great to get some money for him in January, bring someone in to replace him. But I don't know because Haji's firing on all cylinders. Aribo is in the best form of his career. Ryan Kent. Gio's got Morelos working again. We have Kamara Roof as a backup. Fashion Sakala is, like I said, my favourite player on the planet. Midfield, we've got Ryan Jack coming back, who's one of the best defensive midfielders in Scotland. And Tavi's there, Nathan's there. Calvin Bassey is young, but he is coming into his form really, really quickly. He's a left back, but also playing centre back. Philip Hollander's coming back from injury, and we've got Nikola Katic. He was by far Rangers' best defender, but beside Goldson in the 2019-20 season. Yeah, 2019-20 season. And then he got injured in pre-season before our Invincible. He got an ACL tear and he was out for the whole season, never played. And he got shipped out on loan this season, which was bizarre to me. I understand they maybe wanted to give him like fitness or stuff, but Katic missed the entirety of the Invincible season when he'd been such a solid defender. So I'm hoping maybe I was like, maybe we recall him, like because I don't think he was great for us. Why did we ship him off? Like, it wasn't like he wasn't good enough and then he got an ACL tear. So it feels like we're stacked in all the positions. I think that the only place that really needs looked at is defensively, because Connor Goldson's checked out. And I other than that, we're firing on all cylinders. Maybe just could we bring in another attacker to like morale? Maybe it'll be good, but I don't think it'd be worth it. I honestly don't know. I'm so confident in our squad and our squad depth at the moment that I don't know what's next for us, which is kind of exciting. Not fully knowing what Gio's plan is a little bit thrilling, because we're playing really well. So it's like, well, he's not going to just let us play well and stick with that. He's obviously going to be like, right, we need to keep playing well and develop. So I don't know what's next for Rangers, but I'm very excited. I went from devastated to excited in 3 podcasts.
Yeah. Well, I think Gio is like doing very well for you guys. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah,
especially
that's all
the
that
worries of Gerrard leaving. I think Villa's looking really good.
Villa are looking a little bit too good. Why aren't you getting relegated, Mr. Gerrard? I wanted you to fail. I didn't. But however, I did. I'm very happy to see that the Battle of the Snakes at the weekend, Leicester v Villa, ended with the worst of the 2 snakes winning, and Gerrard. I don't actually feel like they're both snakes. I find that quite funny. I saw the Scottish football subreddit that people were like calling them snakes. It was the old snake derby, just because of Brendan Rodgers and Stevie G, obviously. But I was like, I'm happy to see him doing well, and Villa look good. And I might have to eat my words where I said I don't think they were good enough to fight for Europe next season, because in their current form and the way that they're going,
I think if someone has a slip up, they could be on it for.
They'll be right there. I really do think that now, and I didn't think that before.
I think it could be even this season. You know.
It could be. It really, really, really could be. And I saw an interview from Steven Gerrard with Jamie Carragher that was filmed recently about his Rangers exit, and he said that he understands that it was terrible timing and that unfortunately he couldn't pick the timing, but it was just right for him, for his family. And alright, settle down, Charlie. And it made me not dislike him as much. Like, I didn't dislike him really, because I'm happy with Rangers now, but it's fun to say that I wanted them to get relegated, you know.
Just one thing I did want to touch on quickly, actually, to do with City, is in our match against Villa. So, do you remember I sent you this tweet?
Which tweet?
So, in our squad against Villa, we were missing Kyle Walker, Aymeric Laporte through a red card, that is, John Stones, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Ferran Torres, and Phil Foden. And we still played so well.
Oh, your squad depth is unreal. Your B team is better than most people's A teams, bro. That's... Oh, it's so wrong. Was the Villa one that Bernardo Silva goal? Where it was like 4 passes? Or was that Watford?
Yes, that was that one. That was...
Oh my god, that's
beautiful.
another case for
4
Bernardo
passes.
Silva being the best on the planet.
Honestly, I was watching that, and I was saying, when it was happening, when I saw the cross come in, I said to Charlotte, I was like, he needs to hit this on the volley. Boom.
It's so wrong. That was when I had like my 4 games up at once, and I just turned and looked, and they just saw the break, and it was magical, mate. That's so magic.
It was such a beautiful goal. Such a beautiful goal.
That game really did show that your squad depth is just immaculate, and
Yeah.
that it doesn't. Injuries are obviously bad for every team, but not as bad for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think
something.
obviously the advantage of having the amount of money that's been put into the squad,
Yeah, for sure.
but also the way that we played that well with the B team players, like Ake even put in a bloody amazing shift. Like,
Yeah,
very
I think
surprised.
that it's worth noting as well that the squad that Pep has brought to the game against Red Bull Leipzig,
Five
he's got
youngsters.
3 youngsters in there.
Oh yeah, that's
Uh,
sorry. We had five training with the main squad.
I might, to be fair, it might be 5. I've said 3 because I thought it was 3, but you're also the City fan and I'm not. But he's bringing youngsters through as well, and that's what's even scarier. It's the fact that you're saying money, and this B team is like obviously fueled by the influx of cash.
Like we have.
But you
Cole
also
Palmer,
have,
Liam
as Gary
Delap.
Neville said, all these fucking David Silva regens. You can either sell those players for mega money, or they come into your team and they become world class players for you. It's a win-win, no matter what happens. That's so wrong, man.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The thing is, though, it does show how good our academy is, and as much as people will say about the spending and that, like if we have enough, like 2, 3 more talents coming through, like Phil Foden, then that also has to be put down to such an amazing academy side. I mean, Cole Palmer's looking like he'll be just like that. You've got James McKay. You've got Eze in there as well in our academy. So we have a lot of potential that can come through our academy into the first team. And Cole Palmer recently signed a 5-year contract with City, so obviously that's like a 5-year professional contract, not just a unders contract. So
it's massive.
yeah.
I want to note it as well, just before we end this podcast, because we are coming to the end here, that in my football manager save with Rangers, firstly we're unstoppable, but I signed Cole Palmer on loan and snuck in a little optional to buy at the end of the loan for 20 million, which I have for Cole Palmer, and he's unreal in the game like he is in real life, and I feel like I've finessed City, and I'm going to buy him at the end of the season. I just want that note, because he's unreal. He scored against Man United in the Champions League, so he's unreal. Anyways, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for everyone listening. If you want to go and check out our TikTok, we are starting to upload stuff onto there. The first thing that's been uploaded is a story about the Helicopter Sunday in the Scottish Premiership 15 years ago. So if you want to hear about that, head over to All and Nothing Pod on TikTok. Same with our Twitter, All Nothing Pod as well. And that's everything. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Make sure you follow, subscribe, everything you can do to support us. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a like. Maybe if you are listening on YouTube, maybe give us some topics you might want to hear us discuss that we've not thought of. Yeah, thank you for listening.